Hey guys, welcome to the stream. View Sports Talk starts in about 5 minutes. Hope you guys are enjoying your Hump Day Wednesday.
Nice.
Woo!
Wednesday? Oh, okay.
Wednesday.
Thanks for reminding me.
Lose track of days, right?
Oh,
Yo.
God.
Hump day like the chive or hump day like it's the middle of the week.
Get over that Hump Day.
I think it's the middle of the week, right?
Yeah,
Do they
the middle
have
of the week.
Do they have chive in the chive in Canada, Leon?
What's that?
I don't even know what he's talking about.
No?
No.
I haven't given much thought to the chive in about 3 years.
Yeah, me neither, man. But it's like a blast from the past, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say that was pre-viral internet before what everybody's kind of doing these days, which is kind of interesting. Like how I will admit they definitely were onto something, but
Yeah.
more specifically for like a college-based like age group. More, kind of the sense where like Barstool falls within that realm, but I feel like Barstool has just kind of carried the torch a little bit further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had a better execution for sure.
Yeah, which is kind of weird for me to say.
All right, we got some folks pouring in here now.
Do it. I told
This is
everybody.
gonna be a
I
good
told everybody
show.
to join in at the end of the recap. So hopefully it brought
did?
some more people in.
So I was doing my second job as a family Uber driver, so I didn't get to catch one.
There you go.
Get to watch recap.
That's right.
Uh,
Oh, I only made 3 trips tonight, so
Hey,
easy night. Jeez.
all right. You didn't miss much with recap. It was our guest that was supposed to be on had a scheduling conflict all of a sudden, and it's just like, well, I'm gonna pull some shit together right now.
No, those are always fun shows.
Yeah. Actually, the weirder part about it is we tend to get more viewers when it's like off the cuff like that. So
Yeah.
I ain't
You
mad
guys
about
have
it.
you guys have a big restock this weekend, right?
Yeah.
So everyone
Oh,
wants
yeah.
to find out what's
Black
going on with
domes, baby.
that. Black Dome.
Black domes potentially. To me, it's we gotta figure out. We're still working on the fitties.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Black domes,
One of the best collections ever.
they're perfect, man.
Dude, it's so simple.
It's
Like,
just really wearable. Yeah.
yeah.
They're the most them and those and my fitteds off whites to me are the 2 best collections for wearability.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
They're just easy.
Yeah, it's like an everyday wear. You can literally wear them every day.
Yeah. You don't care about matching. Just wear it.
No.
I will say, so there's four new pieces we add to this one because there's obviously a couple that we weren't able to get restocked. So Twins, Phillies, Cincinnati Reds, and damn it, what was the 4th one? Crap.
That you added that's new?
Yeah.
Hmm.
All like the Phillies one is the only one that's like, oh, the Royals. So the Royals, Twins, and Reds
Yeah.
are basically the same hat, but just different patches this time around. Whereas the Phillies is the maroon 70s through early 90s logo. And we used a different patch on the side of that one. So that one's the only legitimately new one.
Gotcha.
Panic one is the Cleveland one because that will never be made again.
Yeah. I'm kind
Yeah.
of surprised that we were able to get that one off the ground again.
Well, not again. Just not for a while.
No, because I just mean in the sense we did it before. So the fact that
Right.
we were able to do it again was kind of surprising.
Right.
Yeah. And he's
I
got the
like that.
Wahoo patch. So that
Yeah.
thing's gonna I don't know how long it'll be till we see that again.
What, the Wahoo patch?
Yeah. From the 48 World Series.
48, yeah.
There's no Indians logos for a while, right? It's just Guardians.
Yeah.
Any name or reference to the Indians is I think 5 years, probably.
Yeah.
In the vault.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
You guys ready to get started here or what?
I'm ready.
I am jacked.
That's
I
good.
was born ready.
I think this is going to be a great show.
I got some good records.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Vault. We are back with another episode of Views Sports Talk. You have myself, Leon, Jason, Pierre, Kyle, and Ben in the house today. Today we'll be debating some records. So Pierre, take it away.
Listen, I'm liking this. It's starting to grow into something pretty cool. We're missing Neil, and Neil said something came up. I think it's the Celtics Sixers game.
I 100% believe that.
Seriously, he's ditching us to watch pre-Christmas
Regular
basketball?
season basketball.
God damn it!
He didn't say that, but when I saw,
Well, yeah, because he'd probably be embarrassed to say that.
Well, listen, I mean, Ben was a trooper. He had the Pacers locked up in a tight one, and he was just, and his peripherals keeping track of the game.
Right.
And everybody thought I was asleep until like, oh, I'm going to drop some knowledge on you guys right now. I came prepared, baby.
Yeah, I bet you have your notes ready to go. So what we're gonna do today, I think is pretty cool. So first, for those that are here, in the chat and whatnot, hit that like button. Let's start there. Hit the like button because we want more people engaged with this content, just like the hat content. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, at the end of the show, we're gonna announce the still giveaway winners. So we'll do that at the end of the show. Leon's adorning. He's all decked out in his corduroy. Like
Nice and warm on my head too.
He's looking like a big junior high school kid. So that's where we're at. So what we're going to do tonight, though, is we're going to go through what we consider each of us our three most unbreakable sports records. And then what we'll do at the end is we're going to take, because we all aligned to make sure we didn't have any duplicates. We're then going to take those 15 sports records and rank them from 15 to 1, 15 being the most likely, if it was ever to be broken, the most likely to be broken to it's never fucking happening at number 1. So that'll be a fun debate at the end. So why don't we do this? I don't want to start with Ben because we want to kind of sandwich Ben in the middle. So Ben can make the first look bad and then set you up for the next two looking bad because he does so much homework here. But why don't we start with the junior high school bully, Leon?
All right.
Wow.
Okay. So
There's three most unbreakable records, Leon.
yeah, I figured since I'm on a panel with a lot of Americans, I do one NHL one. I didn't want to do the easy route, which would have been Wayne Gretzky. So I went Glenn Hall. So for those who don't know, Glenn Hall had a consecutive game streak of 551 consecutive games in net. Most goalies don't even play back-to-back games, let alone 551 games in a row. So I think that one, no one's even going to get close to that one. Record number 2, Mr. Bill Russell. He won 10 out of 12 years. He won a championship, but he had a stretch of 8 championships in a row. I don't think that's going to be touched ever. And the last one, Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain set many, many records. 100-point game, the pinnacle, but he did one feat I think is even harder to reach, which is he averaged 50.4 points a game for a whole season.
That's nuts.
Is that the one you're choosing?
Yeah, 50.4. I think that one's more unbreakable than one night of 100.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
50 over a span of a season is easier than 100 in one night.
I don't. Yeah, I think that could happen, but I don't know. I guess that's a debate for the end of the show.
So those are my 3 records.
Now, Bill Russell won how many championships? You said
I think
10,
he won
right?
10 in 12 years as a player.
He won 11 total.
won 11.
Okay, so 11. So 11 and
The whole
13
thing with Bill
years,
Russell
whatever
was
it
he
was.
has 10 fingers and 11 rings.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, right.
was it 11? He won 11 in 13 years. He won some as a coach too.
11
He won as a
11
player coach as
He
well,
was
right?
player coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. But either way,
Player.
8 in a row is insane.
Yeah.
Especially
that's impressive.
considering the adversity he was up against.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't easy being black in Boston back then. I'm pretty sure. So
easily 100% on that one.
yeah, so we had also that to kind of go up against. But Leon, take us through the hockey one a little bit more. You kind of just glossed over this you took a little shot at some Americans and then you went into it. So I'd love to hear more about that because, most of us don't give a fuck about hockey, but we want to hear about the record.
I mean, I think it's the safest record in the NHL possible. So 551 consecutive games as a goalie, didn't miss a start. So they play typically hockey's 82 games in a season. So it's a long stretch. So most goalies don't play more than 45, 50 games a year.
I almost wrote that one down, but I had a feeling that you were going to put it. So it's like, I'm going to stay away from that one.
So you went to like the Middle East, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went straight to Pakistan.
Yeah. That's where you went. So that little precursor there. But Leon, thank you for those, man. So let's jump into Jason Mead. Jason Mead always brings the excitement, and he looks today. So let's see what Jason's got for us.
So I kind of broke mine down into like a game, seasons, and a career.
That's a good way to do it.
Nice.
So yeah. So I'll start with my game record, and it's probably it is the longest record I think anybody here will mention. But in 1916, number 1 Georgia Tech beat Cumberland Gap College by a margin of 222 points.
Wow.
222-0, largest margin of victory in NCAA football history. Basically, what happened was they had a contract, but Cumberland Gap decided not to field the football team anymore.
Wow.
But it was a $3,000 cancellation fee, which in 1916 is a lot of money, especially for a small college. So they basically put 13 dudes on a bus, send them to Georgia, and they got fucking shellacked. And back then, a lot of the programs within a school shared a coach. So the Georgia Tech coach was also the baseball coach. Cumberland Gap beat them 22-0 the prior spring in baseball. So everybody thought this was a little
redemption,
payback. And the most interesting part was at halftime they decided to shorten the second half to 15 minutes, and they still scored 222 points. So
damn,
that is insane.
That's my season record. I don't think will ever be touched. And then
you illustrated that with a lot
game.
more passion than our junior high school bully.
Right. Well, yeah. Then my seasons one, I'm going to go with a lot of the same lines that Leon did, but I'm going to go to the college ranks. UCLA won 7 NCAA championships in a row in men's college basketball.
Wooden, baby.
The closest anybody else has come to that is 2. And the last team to do that was Florida in 06-07.
Yep.
If you think about it, 7 consecutive championships. That's 2. That means the roster turned over at least 2 full times.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they were still winning championships.
How did they determine championships during the Wooden era?
It was an NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
It was a lot smaller, so that
Right.
helps. It wasn't 68 teams. It was just conference champions back then.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons I don't think it'll ever be broken, because it was a lot
It's
fewer
interesting,
games.
'cause I was thinking about this as I was doing my records.
Right.
The ones that I thought were most unbreakable, like what is a matter of excellence and what's a matter of like
Competition
Circumstance.
overall.
outside of someone's excellence, right?
Yeah,
Like could someone
circumstance.
break these records?
Yeah.
I guess we can talk more about that at the end
Yeah.
when we kind of
Right.
rank them out. But I was deliberating between some records because of that.
Right. So yeah, I mean, the game has changed enough that I don't think this record could ever be broken. Just because of, transfer portal,
Yeah, guys don't stay
players
long.
leaving
Yeah.
early for the NBA, the
Yeah.
coaching carousel that goes on, and the NCAA tournament field is, you got to win 6 games.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
2
yeah.
weekends. So the
Yeah.
closest anybody's really come is Duke made 5 straight Final Fours.
Yep.
But other than that, Nothing. And then my final record is Hank Aaron, is known for his home run hitting prowess, 755 home runs and everything. But he wasn't just a home run hitter. He had over 1,400 extra base hits in his career, which leads to his all-time record, and this is a career record of 6,856 total bases.
Yeesh.
Now, total bases, for you guys that don't know baseball, is bases you acquire after when you get a hit. So singles, doubles, triples, home runs. Now, the reason I think this is out of place and won't be broken is because second place, Stan Musial, has 6134. The difference between first and second place is over 12 miles. The closest a recent player has come to the record is Albert Pujols at 6,042. That puts him over 800 total bases behind. If you think about it, that's 200 home runs he'd have to hit, and he'd still be in second place.
That's crazy.
So I'm going with Hank Aaron's total base record of 6,856. I
think that was an interesting one because a lot of people would say, oh, well, Pujols started later in his career than Aaron did, but it's like, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hank played forever.
And that's insane when you think of it.
Arguably, they started at much different ages, though, considering Pujols was from the Dominican Republic, right?
He was already 30.
Yeah.
He was already 30.
Yeah.
He was about 25.
No, but a lot of that lends itself to longevity too. It's not just like a lot of these
25 years, man.
I mean, that's
time.
Pete Rose too. I don't know if anyone picked Pete Rose, but we'll get there. But Pete Rose's hit record, if no one else brought that one up, that
one's too obvious. That's why I didn't go for it.
Yeah, that's definitely never being broken. The way baseball's played now, and like you said, Pierre, the longevity you have to have. And literally, not only longevity, but consistency.
Ichiro, the way Ichiro played, he could
exactly.
I don't know what his total was between the majors and Japan, but it's
some people argue you don't count his Japanese stats. Some people do. So
So I think if you count his Japanese stats, I think he has more. Or if not more,
I truly believe that Ichiro played in the majors his entire career.
Yeah,
he would have broken the record.
Would have done it, 100%.
Yeah.
So maybe it is breakable.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. So Jason, nice job. So Kyle, how about you, man?
So I went with one from each major sport, football, basketball, baseball. So my first one I decided to go with, I went with the kind of, people don't talk about this organization as a whole, but the success they've had recently has been kind of remarkable. The San Antonio Spurs, man. 22 straight seasons of going to the playoffs every year.
Yep.
I think that's impressive in itself, obviously. But I think why for me that's pretty unbreakable is because the way the sport is played nowadays, guys with the advent of free agency, guys are never going to be on teams for such a long period of time. Obviously, Popovich being a great coach, he started out with them. That was the year Tim Duncan got drafted. So not only do you have to have the players and the talent to have to win, every year in and out to be able to make the playoffs, but as an organization as a whole, you have to know what you're doing. It's I just don't see it being broken, at least no time soon. Like I said, free agency, you have to be blessed with no injuries every year with your star players to have to make the playoffs every year in and out. So that's a record that I think it's probably going to be pretty, be around for a while. Because like I said, you just don't see guys staying on organizations for 10, 15 years like you did in the past. Guys are 5 years, 4 years, and they're gone to another team.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only issue I have with that one is more teams make the playoffs than don't.
No, you're right.
I think some team could luck into that record.
But you're absolutely right. But if you look at out of the active teams that we have right now, right?
Yeah.
The Portland Trailblazers actively have only made it to 8 straight seasons in the playoffs.
Yep.
Once Damian Lillard is out of there, they're done.
Yeah, true.
the Celtics have 7 consecutive seasons of postseason play.
See, they're already on their way to breaking it. So, we'll see you in 15 years.
Yeah, right. 15 years. So I'm obviously, I don't think we're going to go through it. There are some records that are going to be unbreakable. This one is probably not one of them, but I just think from the standpoint of the consistency, having a win every year in and out, not having any injuries that, to keep your star players that pretty much those Spurs teams, they never really had, those years with David Robinson and Tim Duncan, then Tony Parker came along with Ginobili. They were always blessed with health. And I mean, 22 years, that's a really long time. So for me, that's one of the records that I went with. My second record was Ricky Henderson and the all-time steals record.
Yeah.
For his career, he has 1,406 steals for his career. Obviously, we all know
he had 135 in one season, if I remember.
Yeah, he broke the record in 1982, 83, I think it was, and he had 130. No, yeah, he had 130 in 1982, which was his second season in the big leagues. In his first season in the big leagues, he broke Ty Cobb's 65-year American League stolen base record with 96 out of 100 steals, so 96 steals. He broke Lou Brock's record in 91, I believe it was. And Lou Brock is in second place, right? And he has 938 steals.
Yeah.
So he's about 600 ahead of him. Obviously, Lou Brock is not playing no more. Ricky Henderson's not playing no more. But I think this goes into the fact that the way the game is played now,
right? You
don't see speedsters like this in the game. You don't see stealing in the game of baseball. Everybody's pretty much, we know how baseball is now. Home run, strikeout. We're not no hit and run, no stealing. We have a few organizations that do it, but overall, as a whole, you don't see that. And the talent Ricky Henderson have, you don't see guys with that type of speed being able to impact the game the way he did. So I think that's a record that's pretty safe, and that's never going to be. That's probably never going to be broken. So that was my second one, and then my third one was consecutive starts by Brett Favre. He had 297 consecutive starts. If you include the playoffs, which was 24 playoff starts, that's a total of 321. Guys that are in second place are guys that played in the 60s and 70s. The most recent guy was Phillip Rivers, and obviously we know he retired. And his consecutive start streak was 252, including the playoffs. And if we go to guys that are currently active, well, this was kind of before Wilson got hurt. Russell Wilson in Seattle, he was at 160, but obviously we know he missed games due to injury. So that's a record that for 18 years, Brett Favre run out there every day. And I'm pretty sure there were plenty of times he was hurt and he went out there and played. And that's a record in football. I understand now with the way the rules are, it might be a little easier. Obviously, when Brett Favre played, it was a bit tougher game. But I think with that's a pretty safe bet that record will probably never be broken.
At the QB position or in general?
I would say in general. Honestly,
I would say in general as well.
Yeah, because I know we spoke about a little bit earlier with kickers and punters. They're not looked at in the same, light as position players, but it's going to be hard for anybody to really do that for 18 years. I mean, we know Brady, he's been in the league, 23 years already, 22 years. Obviously, he's been relatively healthy minus that 1 year where he tore his ACL. Other than that, he's kind of been healthy year in and year out. But if you look at it, the way the playoffs are structured now, teams that might have a bye in the last maybe possibly 2 weeks, they might sit their starter. So I think that's kind of why the reason I kind of chose that. Because if you just look at everything as a whole, it might be reasons as to why a team might be willing to sit their starting quarterback down to risk injury. So, I mean, for 18 years to do that consecutively day in and day out, or week in and week out, that's pretty impressive.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing, Kyle. And we're going to move on to Ben, and then I'll share mine, and we'll get deliberation. So, Ben, why don't you start with the obscure one? I'd love to start there.
Oh, yeah. No, so like everybody else, I was going through articles on, obscure sports streaks and stuff like that. And I came across this one. It blew my mind because it's like it wasn't a sport I was thinking of. The sport is squash. So for anybody who doesn't know, think racquetball, but with a racket similar to badminton, but the ball is, little tiny black, a little bit harder, whatever. So the guy's name is Jahangir Khan, Pakistani, from 1981 to 1986, 555 consecutive wins, which is still listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest active win streak, I think, for any sport, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds about right? 555
too. Listen,
What's
those
that?
Those fuckers make money.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Do you know squash players can make tens of millions of dollars?
Yeah.
Really? I had no idea.
And cricket players too. Cricket.
I know cricket players. Yeah, cricket for sure.
Ben, help me out with a little bit of context here.
Bring it on.
Who's in second place?
I didn't even bother looking.
Because is 555 a lot, or is that? I mean, if second place is like 100, then whoa. But if second place is like 500,
I imagine it is. I'll double check that after I run through mine, because I can get that information, especially when we start debating everything. So
okay.
My number 2, I went to golf. This one's
a good one.
Was kind of interesting because it's not something I thought about, but Tiger Woods, 142 straight making the cuts, which started at the 1998 Buick Invitational and came to an end 2005 at the Byron National Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what that basically means for anybody who doesn't know, you have to play in the final round of whatever tournament. Obviously, you can get it. It's 4 rounds per tournament. It seems like an easy thing to accomplish, but you have one bad round and lights out.
Yes.
So to do it for 142 straight tournaments is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as young as he was, starting the streak and then going into where he's at now.
Absolutely.
And then my final one, had to bust out the old Philly A's hat for this one. Connie Mack, 1901 to 1950, 50 straight years as manager of the Philadelphia Athletics. That is a record that we will never see broken, definitely in our lifetime, because Connie Mack started at age 38, ended it at age 88.
Holy shit,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But the one advantage that he had was he owned the team. So, of course, he can make that decision. Whereas good luck trying to do that in modern times.
5 years is a long time anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ben, as always, you nailed it. So listen, I'm gonna start with an honorable mention. So Lee, I did have this as one of my original 3, but I'm gonna put this into the honorable mention. It's Cy Young. 511 wins, 749 complete games. Listen. There's zero chance, unless robots start playing, that's ever getting broken.
Good luck getting half of that.
There's no way. There's absolutely zero chance that that happens. And the reason why I moved that from one of my unbreakable records into an honorable mention is because it's just so ridiculous to think. There's nothing. I don't think there's a record harder to break.
Yeah,
pitchers don't even get 500 starts in their career anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, I love 500 wins. I mean,
so I'm going to tell you all who I chose to replace that, and that's the Yukon women's basketball team. So I want 224 straight weeks ranked number 1, 111 straight wins from 2014 to 2017. Everyone thought Tennessee was dominant, and then those Pat Summit teams were just incredibly dominant. But then Gino Auriemma took the reins over at Yukon and just turned that whole NCAA women's basketball world upside down. Listen, I think about that, 111 straight wins. They went 2014 through 2017. I mean, you go for the majority of that without ever losing a game.
Yeah, no, that's insane. I remember watching. Yeah. I'm not a huge, women's college basketball fan, but I always used to watch Yukon play with Maya Moore, Breanna Stewart, obviously Diana Taurasi back in the day. I mean, those girls were like just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they were well coached. It was a great.
Yeah, Gino Auriemma. Yep.
The thing about it, and we'll get into this in the deliberations a little bit. I heard when we were talking about John Wooden and sort of like the whole roster turning over and stuff. I don't know. I think when you create a powerhouse in the NCAA ranks, that's not that unfathomable, because people then it becomes contagious. Like Tennessee had that in women's basketball for a long time. Everyone wanted to go to Tennessee. But there's these moments where you get this one player that can kind of change the trajectory of a college of a college basketball team, and then it draws more players in, and then it becomes this hotbed. So to me, it's easier in the college ranks to create a powerhouse than it is in the NFL, because or in the NBA. I just think there's more leeway there in terms of, like, really the coaches out there. They're not really X's and O's as much as they are facilitators of relationships and creating these relationships that turn into great powerhouse organizations. That's just my opinion, though. I mean, I could be off base there, but the second record I have is Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I know people say it could be broken. It could be. It absolutely could be. It could be broken. It is breakable, but it's not conceivable. I think, and there's also many games in that streak where Cal should have sat.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember games where he was injured and hobbled, and that record actually took over, or really was provided more importance than winning a baseball game, which is the one thing that bothered me about the record. But still, you can't deny the fact that man wanted to go out and play every game. He loved the game. He wanted to play every game, and he was also a guy who kind of changed that shortstop position to the Ozzie Smith build to the Cal Ripken build. He ended up at third base, but still, I think it's a tremendous record. One that's just, could it be broken? Yes. Will it? Probably not. But my last record is Jerry Rice. So listen, almost 23,000 receiving yards. Now, and trust me, when we were talking about like rules and rule changes and all that kind of stuff, if anything, the rule changes and the way the NFL is built now, it would make that record somewhat more breakable, but it's still not breakable. What I'm trying to get at is he played in an era where it wasn't all pass. It was a good mix, and a lot of times it was more of a running league.
Yeah,
and you had this guy of 23,000 freaking yards. I mean, and 197 touchdowns. So think about it. Is someone going to go 15 seasons straight with 1,500 yards?
No.
Fuck no.
No way.
Not a chance.
Ain't happening. So I've always been a guy that says Randy Moss had more talent than Jerry Rice. I still believe that, but Jerry Rice was a fucking workhorse. And, I hear stories about him. He wanted to go on vacation because there's a very specific hill that he would train on each and every single day. He would not, it's crazy, right? It's insane. No one's ever going to touch his records. That's even with the league changing its whole dynamic to a pass first league. It's just not happening. So those are my three records. So Yukon, you can take what you want from that, 111 straight wins, or the number of 230 some odd weeks as the number one team in the nation. Cal Ripken's consecutive game played streak, or Jerry Rice, pick your record. But I'll go with the receiving yards one. Those are my three records.
Good one.
No, those are good. Those are good. That Jerry Rice one, you're absolutely right, Pierre. Like you said, Randy Moss probably had the overall better talent, but the work ethic wasn't like the Jerry Rice. He wasn't willing to work the way Jerry Rice was. And like you said, first of all, the longevity in Jerry Rice's career, but like you said, the numbers that another receiver would have to put up year in and year out just to come close is probably that's never going to happen.
Listen, don't underestimate the fact this guy was getting nailed all the time too.
Of course.
Yeah.
It was a much more physical league. I mean, it was different, and this guy still acquired those statistics. I mean, it's insane. And you know what? I say Randy Moss is a better athlete, but that doesn't mean Jerry Rice wasn't a great athlete. Jerry Rice,
Oh no, of course,
something incredible,
of course.
incredible. I don't know.
I would say Randy Moss overall, I mean, outside of just football, yes. Like in a Bo Jackson sense. It's like the guy was a multi-talented sport athlete. Whereas Jerry, it's like, yeah, track and field and football, those were his main two. I don't think Jerry could lace it up on a basketball court and dominate. Because Randy Moss, when he was playing high school ball with Jason Williams, those two sure as shit did.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Yep.
So let's do this. So we've got the 15 records, right?
Yeah.
So this is where the fun's going to come in.
That's right.
How do we, and I'd love to hear folks in the comments too. And Ryan, yes, he had Montana and Young to throw the ball, but I always look at it the other way.
They had him to throw it too.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, which was it? Like, but I think
they all benefited from each other.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's actually not all 100% true because Jerry Rice also had Rich Gannon, for his time with the Raiders.
With Oakland.
And Jerry made Rich Gannon look like one of the best quarterbacks. I mean, helped the guy win a fucking MVP.
Rich Gannon was one of the best quarterbacks ever. All right.
Yeah. And then the brief period of time when he had Matt Hasselbeck throwing balls at him in Seattle. So
yeah. No, you're right.
I would still say Jerry made the quarterbacks who they are.
Yeah, I agree. I think
except Steve Young, because he's still the greatest running quarterback of all time.
But it's gotta be comforting to know that when all else fails, you can throw the Jerry Rice. I mean, come on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's jump into this. So I think this is where the fun's going to start. We'll start. I don't know. We'll figure out I'll facilitate it. And we'll figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
Just give me once. I was trying to.
Do we rank it from least hardest first? Is that what we're going to try to?
Least hardest to pretty much impossible, right?
Yeah. So
all right.
It's good we kept Cy Young off here because there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way. 500.
Yeah, exactly.
Wins. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, this makes Jason wanted to make it like a fucking puzzle at the same time. So.
I like it.
I didn't want to put my preconceived order in here, so I just
I see.
threw them up.
All right, so why don't we start with what we think is the easiest
to break?
Okay.
Yeah, if there was one. Now, I don't think anyone's. I mean, this is gonna be tough. Like, which one here?
I feel like honestly, the Tiger Woods 142 cut should be the easiest to break.
I might think it's a single game football 222. Even though that's a ridiculous number, you just have to strike. Like Lightning just has to strike once.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to score 222 points in a football game.
No, you're right. But this was in 1916 though.
Right.
I mean, and who they were playing against, I never even heard of the school.
Well, and then Jason brought up the point of this. It was a very revenge motivated win. So
against a group of students, not even football players.
Right, but Leon's point makes sense to me, where it's like it's a 1-game record.
Yeah.
So from a likelihood perspective, like to go 22 years making the playoffs versus, I know as absurd as it sounds, I think that's harder than outscoring someone by 222 points in 1 game.
Because there's like a lot of shitty teams in football too, right?
In football, yeah, especially in college.
But college, the coach shuts it down when they get up by 50.
Yeah.
So absolutely. They take out the starters and
Jason wants this to be number 1, and it's not going to happen.
No, it's not number 1, but it's definitely not number 16.
What is then, Jason?
There's a lot of
I think Spurs 22 straight playoffs. Just because, like I said, more than half the teams make the playoffs anymore.
That's the thing. The more than half do make it. And you're right. But every year you see constant change within. Yeah, you have your same typical teams that kind of always make it, but for 22 consecutive years, you knew the Spurs were always going to be counted in.
I think that I'm leaning towards. I am leaning towards the 22 straight playoffs or Hank Aaron's total bases.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Hank Aaron's total bases will probably be broken at some point.
Yeah.
Think so?
I mean, not by anybody currently in the league,
Yeah.
but at some point it will be. I mean, they'll extend the seasons, they'll add more playoff games.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I do think it will be broken at some point. Just like you know, we all think Pete Rose's hit record is completely out there, but somebody will break it at some point.
Are we
Actually,
sticking
I'm quite surprised nobody picked Mickey Mantle's 56 game hitting streak too. But
that was
anyway,
DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe
And
DiMaggio.
The reason why I won't pick that, and I'll be clear with everybody, is because it cheated Ted Williams out of an MVP award that he clearly won. And that's a fact.
I'm laughing just because I knew.
How does a guy bat? How does a guy
But
bat 406, bang 40 home runs, and get? Listen, come on, man, fuck that streak.
No, I 100% agree with you on that one, Pierre.
It's ridiculous. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I don't even. That record is impressive, man. And no disrespect to DiMaggio, but there is no way on God's green earth that he should have won MVP over Ted Williams that year. Go look at the statistics.
True.
The other one that I know it sounds crazy, but I think will be broken at some point, and believe it or not, is Favre is there, and I think Jerry Rice, just because the way the league is moving to, it's almost a passing first. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now. Somebody through 12 games already has 1,200 yards. Now
have them do that.
Over 16, 17 years.
100
Right.
times in a row.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it will be broken at some point.
Will not.
That's tough.
Will not.
I could see the Spurs being the. To me, honestly, you could see the Spurs probably being the more than likely one, obviously, to happen out of all of these.
Yeah. Well, I think the overall the individual career accomplishments, those are the easier ones to break, because all you need is somebody to come into a league who's young enough but stays hotly consistent throughout their entire career, to the point where it's like, yeah, they are pushing 40 years old and they're still playing top level. So it's like, yeah, why would we not let them keep going? Granted, in today's market of talent, it's not realistic, but at the same time, it's still it's borderline. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right. So who's got the Spurs as the easiest record? Yeah, I do too.
I would say
Yeah.
When it comes to these, yeah, I would say the Spurs probably.
yeah.
So with the Brett Favre, yeah, I think so. With the play-in and all that stuff and whatever, like, yeah, I'm okay with the Spurs. But for the Brett Favre one, are we sticking to QB starts, or can it be any football player starts? Because I mean,
you said anyone.
I mean, are we gonna count really punters and kickers? They obviously
punters and kickers don't get starts.
Oh, okay.
That's not a stat they accumulate.
That's different.
No. Yep. Right. So I mean, but
I mean, doing it on any position would be wild too, right?
Yeah. Any position.
If there is anything that's going to be easier to attain, it's going to be this one.
Yeah.
They've made it so much easier on quarterbacks now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Eli Manning had 250. I mean, he was within
that
a couple
fucking guy's
seasons.
built like a noodle.
Right.
Yeah, he had 250, and he was still about 4 seasons behind Brett Favre.
Listen, man, I have a real theory around like quarterbacks staying healthy. They need to know how to fall.
Correct.
Well,
Like,
yeah, no, Eli knew how to fall.
Listen, that dude is taking a fall like every day.
Instantly. The minute he hears footsteps near him.
Listen, man, it's the ones that tense up that get hurt. Just let it happen, man. Hit the deck. Let it happen. But I've been a big proponent of that for a long time. It's just learning how to fall. But Brett Favre, to me, would be number 14. I don't know about everybody else. I want to hear everybody else first before we make that decision.
Well,
I'm fine.
I can agree with that.
We have 16 total. I did throw in the Cy Young here.
Yeah.
Is the Yukon women up there? Oh yeah.
Yeah, UConn.
Yeah.
I know I'm in the minority probably,
Cy Young,
but
I guess
that Brett Favre one is going to be tough, man. 18 consecutive start. I mean, 18
these are all tough, Kyle.
No. Absolutely. I'm not
going to pick the ones that are least tough.
Well, I think the Yukon women one could possibly happen before.
what?
No way. No way.
111 straight wins.
That's
parity-
that's almost 5 seasons of never losing.
Yeah. And I mean, and I was going to say, in regard to UCLA 7 championships, those teams still own the men's record. I think of 88 straight games.
Yeah.
So the fact that the Yukon women were able to do that for 5 years, it's like I hold that one in much higher regard.
The thing is, too, with Tennessee and Yukon and that whole streak, it created much more parity, too. More people were getting into the mix after that. Like, it was it became a much more competitive landscape.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. 111, I don't know, man. I think it's more likely that someone does 291 straight starts.
I think so, too.
So
I
much
think
little
I mean,
things
you could get a safety in there that gets 291 straight starts.
Well,
and especially now because they added another game to the season and less preseason games, so it's like the probability increased by a hair, but still.
Yeah, I don't know though. I think those D-backs, safeties, cornerbacks, their careers are shorter.
Yeah, because they're constantly hitting.
They lose a step.
Yeah,
exactly.
They get old quick. They get old quick.
Contracts. Yeah,
they're not playing. Safeties aren't playing to their 40s.
The only place that really it by default becomes a quarterback record because
correct.
There's no 20
quarterback
vet running backs.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's going to be illegal to hit the quarterback anyway.
Oh, it's going to be flag football soon.
Right. And so I think at some point we're going to have a quarterback that plays 20 straight years without missing a game.
Yeah.
That's 360 games right there.
Yukon is not on the slide. Someone needs to explain to me how that's even possible, how they shouldn't be on here. Oh, is it because it's behind Jason?
Yeah, it's behind the corner screen. It's there.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's there. It's there.
Let me there. Is that better? Yeah, I forgot we're live. We're live, so I need to leave a little space up here. Okay.
All right. So we got Favre at number
14, 15, yeah.
All right, so who's next?
I'm gonna go Tiger Woods 142 cuts. Like, I feel like that's attainable.
Yeah, but that's incredible. But yeah, I mean, essentially half the field makes the cut in every tournament. You just got to be the top 50% of the golfers.
Yeah.
And there's so many events every year. There's 50 plus events.
Yeah.
You can do
the
this.
Next closest.
I don't know.
I mean, I think the current streak right now is like Rory McIlroy at like 30.
Yeah.
Wow. It's probably more than that, but I mean, based on the article I'd read, McIlroy was at like 25, but this is back in February, so I have to assume like
how many consecutive years was that for Tiger? Those 142 cuts.
7 years.
Jesus.
Hey, I hold on. This is like the third time I've seen this comment, and although I appreciate this record, we are not putting Undertaker's 21 straight wins at WrestleMania on this board.
21
although I agree,
that's like putting up Susan Lucci's like
16 Emmy nominations. Yeah. Although I agree that record will never be broken, it's because they will decide that it won't ever be broken.
Right, exactly.
Hey, Ncaa Nino is in there. Ncaa Nino writes WWE is fake.
It's not fake.
It's scripted.
It's
those
scripted.
Those injuries aren't fake.
No,
those are different.
All right. So we've got.
I'm actually going to go. I'm going to. Tiger Woods is out there. I'm also going to throw the Bill Russell and 8 championships.
Yeah. I agree with that because Jordan almost did it himself.
Or was this? Wait, this was 8 consecutive, right?
Yeah.
In a row.
Jordan would have tied that had he not gone and played baseball.
Correct.
Yeah.
Would have, could have, should have.
I know. I'm just saying. So I think at some point, somebody.
I also think
Hank Aaron's total bases is easier to break than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, probably.
It seems absurd, but it's like a guy
like Juan Soto probably. If he plays for
25 years.
Exactly. He could possibly, like you said, Jason, earlier, Pujols kind of, I mean, he wasn't close, but he was in the vicinity. So
it's just crazy that Hank Aaron is more than 12 miles ahead of
exactly.
second place.
Exactly.
That's why I put it out there. But yeah,
no, it's true though.
Where are we putting this goddamn squash player?
I need to know who's in second before I make a decision on that.
Yeah.
Oh, so I looked it up. The next closest anybody got was an entire college team went 252 wins over a 14-year time frame. Like that's all it could find.
Okay.
Leon, why don't you weigh in here on the squash player?
I don't know shit about squash. So I don't even know
Yeah,
how
I was
hard it
gonna
is
say,
to win one game. That's where it gets tough. Like how hard is one win? Who they playing? Is it like
Exactly.
a schedule? Like I don't know. That's where it gets weird.
Yeah, and then and reading the article more, apparently there were a few matches which are still disputed because of scoring changes. So I'm content with dropping that one a little bit lower.
Yeah, we'll put that below Tiger. It doesn't sound like anybody's ever going to break it, but
yeah,
we don't really care.
We don't know enough about it. That's the problem.
No, exactly.
So I researched some NCAA games with big margins of victory. There was 2 other games that scored over 200 points.
Two other games.
Leon is like he's hell bent on disproving.
No,
I'll fucking delete it.
No, you don't have to delete it.
No, I deleted it.
One game though.
Why'd you delete it?
Because it's a terrible record, according to
no
Leon
one's saying that.
Glenn Hall.
No one's saying that. I'm just saying a lot of these take a lot of time. You're talking about one game. That's all. That's my only.
Yeah, put it back up there. Where is it? Put it back up there.
It deserves to be up there. It's still a crazy.
Yeah, 222-0. That's
There's 200. There's almost 200 D1 teams each one.
Yeah, each year.
Yeah,
teams like this happened almost 100 years or more than 100 years ago. So it's definitely deserving.
All right, where does it fall though?
No, it's not that far down the list.
No, I put it between Favre and the Spurs.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I'm still not sure about the squash player, but I'm just
Squash guy might be last. Squash guy might be last.
Here, let me just go ahead and put all of mine down here.
Why?
There.
Wait, why is UCLA so far down? That's no.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because college basketball sucks.
No. That's
no, dude.
Those 7 championships aren't happening in college.
That's top 5 for sure.
Exactly, has to be.
Especially with one and dones.
Yeah, exactly. That's even more. Yeah, guys don't even.
G-League. Some
they're
people
going. Yeah, G League. They're not even going to. A lot of them
Yeah.
aren't even going to be going to college soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next? What's next here? We like.
Honestly, I feel crazy about this being a huge A's fan, a huge Ricky Henderson fan, but I feel like Ricky Henderson's steal should be next.
It's never going to be broken.
But I think a lot of it is just more based on if you get the right manager in there who is aggressive, and especially with a speedster kid. But I think in the case of Ricky, of why I agree that it's going to be unbreakable is the dude's the greatest leadoff hitter of all time.
Exactly. You still got to get on base.
Correct. And
his on base, he was ahead of his time from an on base percentage.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean,
right,
you understand, you got to steal 100 times for 14 seasons and you'll still be behind Ricky Henderson.
I know. All right. Screw that.
Teams don't even steal 100 bases a year.
God no.
So I have a question about, because I'm not a hockey fan. I don't know too much about it. I know Leon mentioned earlier the Glenn Hall 551 games. There's 82 games in the season, right? So how many seasons is that? About 6?
I mean,
right, but what his assertion is that in hockey,
They don't start every game.
yeah,
no.
Oh, okay,
Goalie.
okay,
That's a goalie.
okay, yeah, because I don't. Okay, no, so I could see that if they don't start every game, yeah, that's
7
definitely
years.
yeah, for sure. All right,
The one that wouldn't be difficult would be the manager one, I think. If you did the same thing as him, if you bought the team, and
Correct.
well, that's like Jerry Jones, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly. So I
difficulty
I
wise,
agree with that.
it is
You
a
just have
crazy
You
stat.
just have to
though.
start
50
at a young enough age, and hopefully you don't go into like extreme senility.
Yeah.
Jason's just moving around our order.
No,
Are you guys okay with
I
Connor?
had put this one in here, but nobody discussed it. So
Oh, the champ. I
Yeah.
think that can be attainable only from the standpoint that you might have a role player that just finds a way on different teams. I know it's still crazy. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, LeBron made it to 8 finals in a row. Yeah, he didn't win.
Lost.
He didn't
I
win
thought-
8 finals, but
was it 8? I thought it was 10.
no, he made it to 8 in a row. I could
8
be
in a row.
wrong on that, but I feel like it was 8 in a row.
No, I think it's 10 if you include like Steph. So Steph and LeBron. One
Yeah.
of either played in 10 in a row.
Yeah, but I think LeBron had 8.
Yeah.
But
LeBron definitely had 8 in a row.
Yeah.
Getting to the finals. So
that's just getting. Obviously, that's not winning. Bill Russell, he ended up winning 8 in a row. I mean, that, like, look, out of this list that's left, obviously, all of these are pretty much not gonna be broken. So I guess it's just picking the lesser of
Yeah.
what we think is pretty much
Okay,
unbreakable.
well, so we're to this point where we can't decide. So let's go the opposite direction.
What's the most
What's the most unbreakable?
Cy
and
Young?
Yep.
yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
Cy Young, no doubt about it. I would say,
Cal Ripken next.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
There's
did
no way,
anybody
man.
even play 162 games this year?
This year, probably not.
Barely.
Right.
Probably not.
There are probably
Probably a
2
couple here and
players.
there.
Yeah,
That Wilt Chamberlain, man, 50.4.
that's insane.
Which one do you
I
That's a
don't-
tough stat.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, man. Like, all right, LeBron.
I mean, it makes Sports Center when somebody scores 50 in one night.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like Jordan was second closest, and he averaged 37.9 for a season.
the only way someone sniffs it is if they make a 4-point line. That's the only way you can see it. Right now, with free throws down to like it's
Yeah, and that was all done. I mean, obviously he wasn't shooting threes, but that was all done
Yeah.
prior to the 3
Prior
points.
to the 3-point. Yeah, that 50.4. I mean, Harden recently, he's had incredible seasons, and they were, spoken about like in the light, like and he averaged 34, 35. That's 15 points behind Chamberlain. I mean, that seems like it's never gonna happen. But it could, obviously, but
Is it more likely that happens than Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak?
no, I still think Kyle is number 2 because the way
I think
baseball's play now, guys,
I think I'm
low
actually gonna-
management and all of that. So I could for sure.
I don't know about Connie Mack. I don't like that one there.
managing a team for 50 straight years. Who's going to do that?
Nobody.
That's never going to happen again.
No, yeah, that's not happening.
I don't
It-
listen. I don't know. I'm in the minority here. I think the Wilt Chamberlain one isn't
But
as difficult as I don't think it's as difficult as Ricky Henderson steals or Jerry Rice. I don't see it.
so you think the Jerry Rice is less attainable than the Wilt Chamberlain?
Absolutely. The longevity required in that league to get to 23,000 yards is ridiculous. It'll
You're
ne-
right. You're
You
absolutely
could
right.
have a guy come out of nowhere that's gigantic.
And still won't average. Shaq was incredible, and he only averaged.
Shaq could have averaged 50 points a game. 100% could have. He 100% could have. Wilt Chamberlain was also selfish.
True.
Yeah, no,
competition wasn't as good either.
If Shaquille O'Neal was the type of player that wanted to score 50 a game. If he had that mentality, he could have.
Yep.
He could have poured that ball into him every game, all game, and he could have scored 55, 60 points a game. He was fucking unstoppable. I think Wilt Chamberlain's record is more attainable than a lot of these.
Hey, Ryan, got this. These are sports records, not athletic achievements. Let's get that right. These are sports records.
But come on, man. I mean, we're taking like, nah, Shaq wouldn't be gassed, man. He'd have to stand up. He'd have to come out, walk out of the paint for like a second, go back in, and fucking pull somebody up, and he could have scored that many points a game. Now, I'm not saying his team would have won, but if he had, how many championships did Wilt Chamberlain win?
Not many. Two,
three,
Wow,
most at most.
Sign of dominance, right? That's a real sign of dominance. You have a guy who's averaging 50.4 points per game and wins 2 championships. Give me a fucking.
I mean,
break.
but to be fair, those teams that Bill Russell was on, Wilt Chamberlain used to bust. Wilt Chamberlain used to bust road.
I'm talking about Wilt Chamberlain, and I'm talking about the fact that it's breakable. Shaquille O'Neal could have broke that record if he had a mentality that was selfish. How could you?
I actually side with Pierre on this one.
I mean, I guess technically, like, you can score 50 twice, get injured for the rest of the year, and still average 50. I mean,
oh, come on. I don't need a cop out like that. I am telling you that is more breakable than what we think.
Okay.
See, and then like where I'm at with like the Yukon and the UCLA, I would still put those at like maybe the 4 and the 5 spot above Ricky and above Jerry, just because the rotation of kids coming in and getting them to, play cohesively and dominate to that level. Because with Ricky and Jerry, it's individual stats. And I know Jerry is dependent upon, having a quarterback who can, hit his target, but also shake the defender as well. And then especially, additional yards per game. It's an individual stat. And so I kind of hold the team ones a little bit higher than individual ones.
Yeah. There's more variables there. And you know what? Listen, I got all these people saying, roasting me about the Shaq thing. Let me tell you something. It's not about whether or not he had Kobe. It's not whether or not he had this person, Penny Hardaway. It's not about any of that. The fact is, if he wanted to, at the expense of his team, he could have scored 50 points a game. And I stand by that.
Yeah.
It would have been at the expense of winning, just like Wilt Chamberlain. If he's that fucking good, he should have won a championship every year he was in the league if he was that dominant. He wasn't. He was selfish. And that alludes, a lot of the things about him was selfish. All of the braggadocious sort of conversation around how many women he slept with, all of that. That's who he was.
It's a hell of a stat unto itself, though. Crushing that much pussy, 20,000 plus.
You know what, though? But you understand what I'm saying, though, Ben? It's like it's just like his mentality. It's like,
Oh, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that.
He wanted to score 100 points a game. He wanted to score 100 points in a game. He wanted to average 50 a game. In that season, when he scored 50 points per game, what was the team? Did the team win the championship that year?
No. Actually, for that year they might have.
Did they?
Let me double check. Actually, I'll take it one step further with you on that. In regard to Steph Curry, that's a dude who, if he wanted to, and if Kerr let him, could do 50 a game.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Especially the way the league is set up now.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, you got the 3-point line to worry about, and there's going to be a ton of dudes beating the shit out of you there.
What the fuck?
And whether it goes in or not, you're going to go to the free throw line for 3, or you're going to make the basket and still get one more free throw on top of which too.
Listen, the whole thing is like this could be broken.
Yeah. What the fuck is this guy?
LeVar Ball, what's up? You got 2 sons doing well in the NBA, buddy.
All right, I'm okay ranking Wilt lower because the next year he did 44. So he almost broke his own record the next year. So it kind of shows that.
But it took him to do it.
Yeah, I did.
No, but I'm not. Listen, I'm not discrediting that in itself. I'm broken, and
All
yes,
of these things are very hard to be broken, right?
but that one's not as hard as the others.
So the year that Chamberlain got his 50.4, lost the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, Boston owned him. That's the problem too. Like he couldn't get past.
Yeah, no, there's no debate that the Celtics
who owned him? You know
had
who
the better
owned him?
team.
Honestly, who owned him was the only guy in the league that could cover him.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
And I mean, it was a 7-game series, so.
I mean, Bill Russell couldn't really guard him. I mean, he couldn't. If you see the numbers, he was still putting up.
I mean, and I will say in that playoff series, Chamberlain averaged about 38 points per game.
Yeah, I mean,
but when you're the entire offense of the team, like it makes sense.
Yeah, no, of course.
So Russell took 12 points off the season average.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it too.
Boom.
Bottom line is they didn't win. But I don't know. These are all intense records. I don't know. Like I just think that 50 could be done.
Yeah, I agree.
I would. Ooh, that Ricky Henderson one, man. I gotta be up there, honestly.
Ricky Henderson one is
that's like not happening.
So ridiculous. A lot of these two are standing because the game has just changed so much.
Yeah, it's because the game has changed. That's why the Ricky Henderson one is gonna last, because nobody's stealing bases anymore. You just don't, and it could evolve, it could change back to the way it used to be. But to get a guy that would just be able to do it the way he did it, you knew when he was getting them first, he was stealing. Like he was going. There was no and ifs or buts. No matter if you threw if the catcher knew, the pitcher knew, you just couldn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so where are we going? We got to start laying on the plane here. So Ricky Henderson next, or UCLA, Yukon? Where are we at?
I was gonna say move the UCLA right below Connie Mack, and then move the Yukon right below that. And I think that's really about it.
The UCLA one for sure, because nobody, like Leon said earlier.
UCLA, then I'd say Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson, yeah.
All right.
Then I'd say Jerry Rice, maybe.
Wow.
Then Yukon. But that Glenn Hall one, the way Leon explains it.
Yeah.
It's the Glenn Hall one's a tough one.
I mean, who's second behind Glenn Hall? If you happen to know, I'm not.
I'm gonna look it up.
Like before you mentioned it, that the goalies don't play every night, I thought it was kind of attainable, 551. We're 82 games in the season, but being that like Leon said, they don't play consecutive games every night, the goalies.
Yeah.
So
257 is the next.
Yeah, that's
wow.
And then
who has that?
And he's not even playing anymore, right?
No, these are like 1920.
And look, Bill Russell ends up right where he belongs, above Wilt Chamberlain.
So most guys we've never heard of, right? Alec Connell, 1924. John Ross Roach, 1928. Dave Kerr, 1936.
So does that belong
go above UCLA?
Yeah.
Does this belong up here with Cy Young?
Kind of.
The game's changed. The game's changed so much; it will never, ever, ever happen.
I think it's right there with Ripken and Mack.
Yeah, I would probably put it above the Mac one.
Yeah, that's like a hard 3-way tie for first place.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe we got there.
Yeah.
Hardest record, Cy Young. 500 wins.
Yeah.
Or you can take his complete games, which is probably even harder to beat.
He got more complete games than guys have wins.
I know.
Kyle
guys have
Ripken's
starts.
consecutive game streak. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, Brett Favre might be too low, but this is where we're leaving it. We're not going anything.
No, it's good.
Yeah, it's like I can't even fathom a starting pitcher like going a complete game, and then next day like, oh hey, you're back on the mound again. By the way, fucking insane.
Yeah, that's
Got the freaking
crazy.
trophy named after him.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, Andrew, the reason we say Favre's is going to be broken is because the game's going to change so much where it's going to be impossible to hit the quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
Once we see them start wearing red flags on their hips, we know
On
it's
their
over.
waist, right?
Yeah.
Like Ben said, with the addition of the extra games, 17 games, it's probably
Now his interception record, that's
Yeah.
one that might be up there.
Is it
oh
300?
yeah.
Yeah, it's over
This
300.
wasn't easy. This wasn't easy to do.
No.
How many years did the Braves win the division title in a row? Was this 17?
14.
14?
14.
Yeah, that'll be broken at some point.
Yeah.
So?
Yeah, it's just you get in a shitty division like the Braves were in.
Do you think
Yeah.
Braves was not as hard as the Spurs?
I would say the Spurs 22 is more difficult than the Braves winning their 14 straight
Yeah.
titles.
Well, listen, this was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I think adding the last element added a little more excitement to it.
Yep, definitely.
We could just spewed out our records, but then we had to figure out how to rank them. But this was fun, guys. I appreciate all of you. Like we all came prepared, man, ready to talk. So this was good. This was good. Let's pull this down. Nice job, Jason, facilitating that whiteboard exercise.
Definitely.
Boom.
I was a little concerned when I looked at your format at first. I was like, what the hell is that? But it worked out.
You got it.
Jason wanted to create an unbiased forum for us to talk. So, well, I mean, I was impressed by a lot of things here, not only how polite we were to one another as we deliberated, but also Ben integrated squash.
Hey, yeah, I had to go deep on that one, and it was either going to be some kind of obscure cricket scat or squash for sure.
I can tell Jason's getting tired here. You guys see it?
We still have to
I'm
announce
fine.
the winner.
I'm fine.
We still have to announce the winners.
Let's announce that still winner.
All right. Let me get that open.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Mhm.
I'll put
You
it
guys
in the
ready?
chat with all of us.
Drum roll.
And the winners are the Nick Soto and Joey Casey sneakers.
Nice.
24 hours to claim your prize.
Nice.
Leon, when you said it, it's not like you said the wieners are.
The wieners. The wieners.
But listen, this was good, guys, and congratulations to the winners. That brings a close to the chapter, to this still giveaway chapter that we've been kind of navigating for a while. So listen, this is great. This is great. I enjoyed it. We got to figure out what's on for next week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just for everybody out there,
We're-
Leon, myself, and Jason will be connecting out in Buffalo on Sunday.
Nice.
Mhm.
So we're gonna film the Fitties on Monday morning at the New Era offices, and we got awards for the winners this year. So Leon is a fashion designer. We all know that. Leon's designed a special pin for all of the winners, which is gonna be pretty fantastic. And then that night, and then Jason's got the envelopes and a lot of good stuff going on, right, Jason?
Mhm.
Envelopes, cards, everything. This is gonna be like a real award show.
Vocabulary by Ernst
And then
Young.
Monday night, the three of us are going to be watching Bills versus Patriots live at I don't know what the Bills stadium's called.
It used to be New Era Field, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
not
was.
anymore. It definitely is not anymore.
The home of the Bills Mafia, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna jump through some tables, Pierre?
And
Huh?
You
and
gonna jump through some tables?
I'm
no,
not the
Leon.
table kind of guy, you know.
Leon, we are not hiring Ernst and Young to tabulate the result.
No Hardy Boys action going on over there.
Way too expensive.
But this is gonna be fun though. I'm excited. So Leon and I have already met. It'll be the first time I meet Jason Mead in person.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. But we're also gonna spend some time at New Era. We're gonna go. I guess the New Era historian is gonna take us on a tour of their underground museum, which will be interesting as well. So we'll make
Nice.
sure that we bring back an awful lot of information.
I'm spacing on his name right now. I know exactly who you're talking about, though.
I don't
Hey,
remember.
you
his
probably
name.
did the tour too, back in 13, right?
Oh yeah, no, I don't know why I can't think of his goddamn name right now. I've known the guy for fucking 10 years.
Well, I'll text his name over to you when I meet him.
We'll say Ben
Yeah.
says hi. We'll say Ben says hi.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, please do.
But I don't want anyone to underestimate the Fitties this year. They're going to be fantastic, man. Leon, Jason, and I have spent a ton of time trying to figure things out, and like, trust me,
Yeah.
there's a ton of categories. A lot of people are going to win. I think it's going to be fun.
Surprise.
Yeah, just some surprises. I think we're going to have a lot of folks in the comments. We'll do them as live premieres. It won't be live, but we'll do a live premiere where we there'll be 2 different episodes, 2 or 3 episodes. We haven't decided yet, probably 2. And then we'll show up and watch it live with all of you, and we'll take part in all the commentary. So
Nice.
with that, this was fantastic, fellas. Thank you so much. I appreciate it as always. Any last words, guys, before we wrap up?
Have a good time at the New Era. Enjoy the game. That's it.
Yeah.
No, next week, I think we should do the most breakable records in sports.
I was gonna say, I got an idea. What day does Christmas fall on this year?
A Saturday.
Saturday.
All right, good. So for that week, going into Christmas, I think our topic should be greatest Christmas miracle win of all time.
Ooh, all right.
So obviously it doesn't have to fall within Christmas, but just the,
Miracle.
the
And,
miracle win.
and since Christmas is on a Saturday, you guys
Listen,
get your
I got
get your
dibs on.
presents.
I got dibs on a Patriots win. I think you all know which one I'm talking about. So,
Yep.
Yes, get that shit out of here.
all right. So let's wrap up here, guys. So thank you again all for being on with us. Thank you for watching, and to those still winners, congratulations, Leon, big fella, the junior high bully. Take us away.
And make sure you guys are dropping a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Do all that good stuff for Jason, Leon, Pierre, Kyle, and Ben. We